Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. It is cold here in Ontario, Canada. About an hour ago, the temperature was in Celsius, minus 24 Celsius, which is minus 11 Fahrenheit. And with the wind chill, it's minus 33 Celsius, or 27.4 Fahrenheit. That leaves me very cold. And as always, I want to thank my members. I've got 19 members now, and just thank everybody that's supporting me. So, as you know, or some of you know, I've got two YouTube channels. The Canadian Studmuffin one, which is going to be celebrating 20 years in a couple of days, and I'll be doing the draw for the contest for that. Ever since I was demonetized, of course that killed my, the Canadian Studmuffin channel for views. And not right away, but after a few weeks, it started to affect this channel too with views. And I was looking up on it, and I guess that's what YouTube does. They kind of penalize you, right, for being bad. And, because I was uploading music shorts that I thought were fine to upload because it would go through YouTube's policy, but later on, of course, I lost monetization, which I should be able to get back in mid-March. So anyway, the views suck right now, and YouTube isn't, pushing out the videos like they usually do. So having members really does help support me in this trying time. So thank you. Anyway, I'm going to talk about just some of the music I've been kind of focusing in on the last couple of weeks. And I just got one new CD yesterday, and I have not played it yet, but looking forward to hearing it tonight. It's my fourth Bee Gees album, and it is 2 years on. So if anyone is familiar with this album, let me know what you think of it. I know it's not maybe one of their strongest albums, but still good. And the only song, I haven't heard this album, and the only song I do know, of course, is Lonely Days, which is a great song. I've been getting back into some albums that have been kind of gathering dust in my CD collection. For instance, Klaatu, such a great Canadian band, very underrated. I've got their first 4 albums. I enjoyed all 4 of them. I think my favorite is probably Hope, which is kind of a progressive pop rock album. It's really cool. And, once again, thinking back to when their debut album came out, I loved it right away. I knew on first listen, that's not the Beatles, the rumor that was going around in the 70s. But I loved the album. But when the second album, Hope, came out, I was disappointed in it. I thought it was a bit too cheesy, a bit too poppy compared to their debut. And so I never really, I might have listened to it maybe a couple of times, and then I figured it's not a good album for many years. But, a few years back, I started to listen to it again, and I realized it's a great friggin' album. Now, this band, I have had, in fact, I think I had a couple more of their albums in the past, but I'm down to 2. And there were times I was thinking of selling them, and there would even be times I'm thinking, oh, do I still have Kraftwerk in my, I gave it away. Do I still have Kraftwerk in my collection? I go look, oh yeah, I didn't sell them yet. And then I would go to listen to it, And I've always really liked Kraftwerk, but especially Autobahn and Radioactivity. But just in the last few weeks, I've been playing both of these a lot. And I think between the two, I think I love this Radioactivity just a tad more than Autobahn. But they're both great. I kind of always ignored side 2 of Autobahn. You know, the sidelong title track I've always loved. But side 2 with those 4 shorter songs I kind of ignored through the years. And with Radioactivity, I love the title song. And then the rest of it I kind of once again ignored. But I'm a fan of these 2 albums. And I do listen to some of their other albums on Spotify, and you know, I'll still, you know, try and give them another go. But I think for me, these are just the 2 Kraftwerk albums that I need. Yeah, I had OK Computer and The Man Machine. And like I said, I have listened to them recently on Spotify, and they still don't really connect with me. I listen to Can a lot still, and there's so many favorites. Tego Mago, Future Days. But I think I listen to Monster Movie the most. I love all of the songs, but especially side 2's, well, on vinyl, side 2's You Do Right, which is over 20 minutes long. Just the groove they get into, and is just so good. Monster Movie. I like Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Don't laugh. I remember in the Sparks documentary, Ron Mail saying something about, you know, blood, Sweat, and Tears, and kind of like as a put down, right? But I think he is probably thinking more of the David Clayton Thomas era, because their first album with Al Cooper is progressive pop rock. It's kind of like Chicago being, like early Chicago being more progressive rock. And there's jazz elements and pop and blues. But this is a great debut. I highly recommend you check it out. Next up, I am a big fan of the Claypool Lennon Delirium. I have 2 of their albums, and they have a new one coming out at some point soon. But I always thought that Monolith of Phobos was their second album. But it's their first. And this, South of Reality, is their second album. So when I got these, I got this one first. But anytime I went to play the Claypool Lennon Delirium, I almost always played this. So I kind of ignored this one. I played it, you know, a couple of times and liked it, but I just like this one more. But I've been playing this more recently, and it is I think they're pretty equal. Like, I don't think one's better than the other. I think these are just both great albums. So, and I am still thinking of contacting Sean Lennon. I might even do a video like open letter to Sean Lennon and then tag him on X or Twitter, because whenever I do, you know, I don't tag him too much. I don't want to bother him. But anytime I do tag him, he'll he'll do it. He'll respond back in some way, like liking whatever I posted. So yeah, I might do that in the near future. Just to talk to him, not to get into, personal crap, but just about music, his mom's music, his dad's music, his music, of course, and hopefully promote the new album. I'm a big fan of John Anderson, but I had not played this album, and I have played it a lot in the past. But I would say in the past year, I maybe played it once. So I've been playing this again a lot. Elias of Sunhillow. It is so good. Love it. And today's Sunday, so on Monday I'm posting the first CD exchange reviews with Robert's on My Turntable and Morris Gautreaux. And one of these albums that I'm mentioning here is part of the next CD exchange, which has already been filmed. So that will be released a couple of days after the review that's coming up tomorrow. It gets complicated. But anyway, I love Donovan. And my favorite album kind of always, I think I have like 5 favorite Donovan albums. But at the moment, I think Donovan's Open Road is my favorite. And 2 of the songs, Curry Land and New Year's Resolution, might be my favorite Donovan songs, along with a few others. But yeah, I just love Donovan so much. And this is a rockier than his albums from the 60s. This is from 1970. And it's a band that was called Open Road. And so, yeah, it rocks a bit more. And I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't heard it. And to end this, I know that Robert's on My Turntable recently got this Blue Oyster Cult box set, which is superb. And, I played this throughout the years a lot. And, but once again, the last few months I haven't played any Blue Oyster Cult, but I'm getting back into playing them again. And, just the memories of first hearing Blue Oyster Cult in 1974. I was reading up on how great the albums were, and Buck Dharma, this underrated guitarist and everything. And so when I bought their 3rd album first, Secret Treaties, I remember, the first time I played it, not that I disliked it, but I wasn't that impressed with it. And I was thinking, I was expecting these amazing guitar solos, right? And I didn't really hear it. But the thing is with Buck Dharma, he's, when he does do his guitar solos, it's part of the song, right? He's not going off soloing for 10 minutes straight. So it was on further listens, I finally, oh yeah, there is great guitar work on this album. And so I grew to, fairly quickly, I grew to love this album. And then I think the next one I got was their debut, Blue Oyster Cult. And it was completely different than Secret Treaties. And once again, on first listen, I didn't really care for it. I thought it was kind of weird, and I was disappointed in it. And now I love this as much as Secret Treaties. It's one of my all-time favorite debut albums. And then I got Tyranny and Mutation, their 2nd album, and I loved this one right away because it was more of what I expected with hearing them for the first time. There's just so much great guitar work on this, great bass work by Joe Bouchard, who I'm thinking of asking to interview. Yeah, we're Facebook friends. But, I'd love to talk to him about all of his work with Blue Oyster Cult. So, just fantastic, Blue Oyster Cult. And then, of course, the live album came out. I loved that right away. And then it seemed, I think it was just a couple of years, or less than a couple of years, but I just remember waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for a new Blue Oyster Cult album. And then one day, it finally arrived. Agents of Fortune. I love it. I liked it right away and very happy with that. Spectres I did like it, but through the years, I've grown to not just like it, but really love it. So, and I love that album cover. And then, further albums I've talked about before, like Mirrors, which was, I thought they were going a bit too poppy, and I might have played it once or twice, but now I absolutely love Mirrors, even though, it's more commercial than everything else here. Culticeras erectus was amazing. And then after Fire of Unknown Origin, which was excellent, I stopped buying their albums. It just happens. But I've got them all now here. Imaginos and Club Ninja and all of their, the more recent albums. So yeah, Blue Oyster Cult, just a very underrated, great American band. Definitely, there's more to them than Don't Fear the Reaper and Godzilla and Burning for You, which are great songs, of course. So that's it. I rambled enough. So I would love your thoughts on anything I talked about here, and thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.